Hello and welcome to Talking Good Games match preview of Norwich City against West Ham United. This could be the game that Norwich City are mathematically relegated and confirmed to the Championship. And it could also be the game that drags West Ham right back into the relegation scrap. That's what we're here to discuss. And Gonzo, can we start with your thoughts on the Canaries, please?
I think it's a fabulous football club. I think they're run in a really, really good way. And I know people may laugh because they've had such a bad season, but there's a structure to that football club, and the structure that will mean they probably do pop up the next time. And it goes from the top, whereby Delia Smith, and I forget the other chap's name, recruited somebody called Stuart Webber as their. He's not called director of football. I think he's called the sporting director, and he has overseen a real restructuring of that club. He's the reason he brought in Daniel Farker, but also just some of the players he's brought in and the youth development he's put into place, and in terms of the scouting and just the whole structure of the club from the very youngest teams all the way through to the first team. There's a pathway. It's just doing everything exactly how it should be done. They're a nice club. They're a family club. But as I say, they have purpose and they have an identity. I think there's a lot to be admired about Norwich.
Yeah, I completely agree. Webber's impressed me. I've listened to a couple of interviews he's done, and every time he speaks, he impresses me a lot. And if he was to ever leave Norwich, which I don't think he will, then I wouldn't mind seeing someone like him at West Ham, or certainly that attitude installed. I think they've done the right thing. They've come up, didn't spend any money at all. They spent £1 million to come up, and they, from the get-go, Karen Brady, to be fair, Karen Brady mugged them off a year ago and said, well, you come in the Premier League, you've got to spend big money. And Webber very much replied and said, that's not what we do at Norwich City. And I think they've probably expected to get relegated. I think them as a club expected to come up for a season, get relegated again. But I'll tell you something, I'd be surprised they're not back in the Premier League in 2 years' time. Maybe not an automatic bounce up, but the following season I expect to come up, because they're in no. This is why they're completely different to Aston Villa, who are playing at the minute. To ourselves, when we go down, there's a fire sale. We have to get rid of players. We have to reduce the wages. We have to bring in funds to float the club. Norwich are financially stable. They don't need to sell any of their players. So if you go after one of their players, whether it's Aarons, Lewis, Godfrey, Buendia, Cantwell, you're going to have to pay big money because they're under no pressure to sell. So they've already put themselves in a very, very good position for next season, and we're not even there yet. I mean, they are going to be playing in the Championship. There's no way they're getting out of this, but their players will learn from the experience, and if they move on, they get big money. They can't really lose here, Norwich. They've got a good manager as well. I hope they keep Park. I think they will keep. Yep. And when I say that, I mean I hope they don't sack him. I mean he doesn't leave. I hope he sticks with Norwich as well and gets them back up. I'd like to see them get promoted next season again, to be honest with you. But speaking of those players, do you expect them to be preyed upon, essentially?
I do, but I wonder if the financial aspect of football that's changed might well have almost insulated Norwich, because I do think that they would have had certain price tags for some of those players, and if those price tags are not going to be met or got even close to, so if say they'd valued somebody at 30 million and now someone's going to come in and try and get them 15, I think they might just say no, because I do think you're insulated somewhat with the parachute payments. I do think you've got almost a West Brom model going on there, which I totally agree with what you were saying about them almost financially managing the whole structure of the club, so they do go down and come back up. And when you do that, there's not the same need to sell all of your players. If they do, and maybe they sell one, they certainly don't need to sell what you won't call their all four or five that need to go, and they've managed it well. I mean, you take someone like Pookie, who was, and I think he was at Brondby quite possibly, a good goals per game ratio. I think he scored almost a goal a game, 100 odd games, almost 50 goals. But they brought him in on less than £500,000 a year. That's not a prohibitive wage down in the Championship, particularly when you've not got parachute payments. So will basically answer your question, will clubs be after some of their players? Yes. Will they have to sell all of them? No. Expect one or two to possibly go.
They've already slapped the £50 million price tag on Godfrey's head. I think Man City are apparently looking at him, and they've said £50 million. And I think that's the right attitude, and I hope they stick to it as well. And I hope the players stick with Norwich City. If they do leave, I hope they do it in a respectful manner, in the way that we expect Declan Rice to do it with West Ham, which is a conversation privately in the background that says, here, I wouldn't mind leaving. Go get your big money kind of thing. And if they do sell them, like I said, they're going to bring in a lot of money, and they can build almost like a championship dream team with that. Just by selling one player, they can go and fund 3 or 4 different positions. They need to sort their centre backs though. I know Godfrey's done well, but Hanley's horrendous defender. Zimmerman's not that great. I'm not a big fan of Klose either. Their centre backs are letting them down. I think their centre midfield lets them down as well. Like Tribals looked okay. Kenny McLean looks okay. Tete, they're just not Premier League standards. So while they've got a lot of good youngsters, that's half the team. I think the other half is just not quite good enough, and that's where they've really fallen down. Now, if you could sign one Norwich player, don't name anyone, just one, because I'm going to ask you for the players you admire as well, which feeds, they're sort of all tangled together. But if you could just pick one player from Norwich that you would sign, then what would you expect as a realistic fee for that player? Who would it be?
Oh, I mean, it's tough because they have 2 very good players in 2 areas where we're weak. So take your pick, whether it's right or left. It's so tough for West Ham. Also, we have a youngster who can play right or left. So I'd probably go with Aaron's. What would we expect to pay for him? Look, if they were asking for 50 million, Godfrey there, then I would imagine they would probably have been asking 40 million for him. They won't get it. 25 million, probably more reasonable.
Yeah, I would say Jamal Lewis. It'd be him. Lewis, I would pick out of them, and roughly the same figures as you're quoting. I think they'd be wanting 40 million or something, but I think they'd probably have to accept 20. Hope for 25 kind of million, and I'd pay that as a West Ham fan. I'd love to see us go out there and get one of those 2 fullbacks in particular. But apart from them, players you admire, please.
Well, I look at those 2, and I do admire both of them, and I just wonder if Luton must be absolutely kicking themselves because they're both from Luton's academy, basically. So I mean, again, that shows the purchasing power, not just. It shows the foresight of being able to bring players in from other academies, which is something, obviously, West Ham are not adverse to doing that either. I think, well, I've already mentioned 2 of them. I've already mentioned Pookie. You talk about Cantwell. Cantwell's come all the way up from their academy, and Sheffield United are rumoured to be interested in him as well. But Godfrey is very good. They're all so young. I mean, they're 20, 21, 22. Godfrey has had quite an exceptional few years. I mean, he went out to, I think it was 3 seasons ago, maybe he went out to Shrewsbury, played all season at Shrewsbury, came back, played a season in the Championship, did really well, come in, played a season in the Premier League. I mean, he's going to stop at some point. He's going to just keep expecting to get better every year. I don't think Pookie's turned into a bad player. I think his goal scoring record suggests otherwise. It's just the confidence of the team's dried up, and that initial... They had a very good win against Man City, didn't they? I think they played Liverpool on the first game of the season as well, and gave Liverpool a scare. First game of the season, unless I remember that wrong. And he really looked good. Really, really looked good. But they've got some half-decent players. And I think also, whilst you got all these youngsters, the experience of a Tim Krul in the squad and people like that is obviously a massive help to them. I really, really like him. Cantwell will clearly has been one of the standout guys, and I think Sheffield United said they might bid 10 million for Todd Cantwell. Did I read earlier on when I was doing me research on Norwich? You won't get him for 10 million, that's for sure. No,
not a chance. Buendia is my favourite Norwich player. Every time I watch him, I just think he's tricky. He's really crafty. He creates a lot of chances. I think halfway through the season, I think he'd created more chances than De Bruyne in the league. He was top for out the whole in Premier League. It's just, to do that in Norwich is brilliant. I'd be surprised if they can hang on to him as well. He's just not such a household name as Cantwell. Cantwell's a more household name, but I do think Buendia is the one. Every time I watch him, I just think, I'd love to see him at West Ham, to be honest with you. Hernandez has looked handy since Project Restart's come back. He's looked quite good, but I'm not sold on him. He looks good and crap at the same time when I watch him, if that makes sense. He'll do something, and and then he'll do something else a minute later, and I just think you are not good enough. But Pookie's like he's too good for the Championship and not good for the Premier League. Pookie, that's where I put him. His confidence, once his goals dried up, his confidence come down. Then we saw the real Pookie, which is just not quite good enough, unfortunately. The party ended for him, unfortunately. But anyway, time to talk about West Ham, because there's a lot to talk about tonight. When we win, it's quite easy to sit here and say, well, just the same team, please. But we got beat. There's a lot of fatigue. So, yes. Is there going to be a lot of rotation? That's what we're here to discuss. Your back four, please, assuming you're keeping it as a back four.
Yeah, I would definitely keep it as a back four. I would change the fullbacks, both of them, because I think you've got to send a message out as well as changing the team. Half of it's changing the team and sorting it out because there are just massive errors, and they are highly likely. I mean, the funny thing is, this may be one of the better teams to play in terms of actually getting at our fullbacks, particularly from there. Obviously, they've got two attacking fullbacks that will try and get through and put it in. But actually, in terms of, I've seen Cantwell play a couple of times, and he's drifted on the left, but he's a drifter. He drifts into the middle and stuff like that. So is he going to provide the same sort of thing? No. But that being said, I'd still change it. I'd still put Ben Johnson at right, and I'd still put Masuaku in at left. And the Masuaku thing's far from ideal. I guess Ben Johnson is far from ideal, but something has to change and something has to give, and he has to make that change there. I wouldn't change the two centre halves.
I would change three of the back four, to be honest with you. I would take Ben Johnson at right back as well. I would take Balbuena in, but I'd move Diop over, and then I would play Ogbonna left back. I don't trust Masuaku. I don't trust Creswell anymore, and that leaves Ogbonna. Now, I don't want to see Ogbonna left back, but it's needs must now. And I thought Balbuena did well when he came in when Ogbonna was out. I thought he did okay. I think Diop's been shaky as well. I wasn't overly happy with him against Burnley. I thought he was a bit rash in possession a lot of the time. And we need to make sure that we just cannot concede 2 goals. I know we're going to concede one against Burnley, but they had the ball in the back of the net twice. We cannot allow that to happen, because if we do, we're not winning. We're not going to beat them if we concede 2. It's almost like a defence first kind of thing here, and leave the attacking to the attacking players. I'm aware Bona can't offer much going forward from the left back position. That's fine for this game. I would say don't worry about it. Let the people on the pitch that's meant to attack, let them do the attack. Because Aarons and Jamal Lewis fighting the daylights out of me because of our lack of tracking back from our wide players, which we're going to get onto. Centre midfield, there's only really one option in there, or are you going to change it up? Is it Souček and Rice, or are you going to do something in there?
Yeah, I think I would. I might have, had Snodgrass have been fit and things been different, I might have given one of them a rest. And I do mean a rest because everybody looked knackered. They are the 2 best guys, and they get it. They should get the shirts there. Hopefully, they've had some, I don't know, something, not performance enhancing drugs or anything, but hopefully they've had some rest or a massage or a bubble bath, whatever they do. As you see, I'm cutting edge with my sports science. Give them a little rub down, and hopefully they're okay. So they stay the same, mate. But yeah, I would change in front of them, and I would put Jack Wilshere in front of them.
Number 10 role.
Yeah, definitely.
And what would you do?
Yeah, I would.
Outside, or would you go 2 up front, or what else are you doing? What's your other 3?
No. I know. I'd play Bowen right. I'd play Haller middle, and I'd play Antonio left, and just hope, because I just don't think there are an awful lot of other options there. And I would hope that they can somehow sort the fitness, and then bring Yarmolenko on as an impact sub. Hopefully Lanzini can do something off the bench or whatever the case may be. I know the temptation. I think Moyes might play with a 2 up front and go with Antonio and Sebastian Haller, and I wouldn't overly blame him for doing so. But then that gives you a problem on the left. What we're going to do on the left? He's going to play Bornals there, in which case I'd rather not see it again. Can play Lanzini left? No, I'd go 4-3-3 on this one.
I've got that problem because I've actually wrote down 10 players and I've still got a space on the left. I don't know who to put in. I've got Bowen on the right, Alier up front, Yarmolenko in the 10. I'm not giving up with Yarmolenko. I thought when he went off, our attacking threat disappeared. So while I don't think Yarmolenko looked that good against Burnley, I think the team looked a lot worse as soon as he went off the pitch. When he went, so did the attacking in the 10. So I'd get him in the number 10 role so he doesn't have to defend. So he does not have to go in our own half, essentially. It's almost like a second striker, I guess. If anything, that would be my 4-4-2. I'd be pushing Yarmolenko up there. But we have to get him shooting, essentially. We need to get him into position where he can have a shot at the goal. As for the left wing, I don't know. We have a problem here. Because Max Aarons just gets forward so much, whoever's there, he's going to have to track him. There's no option. There's no debate about it. There's no, I'll go half the time. You have to go back every single time he goes forward. And he just gets down. He's almost like a right winger some games I watch him. Yeah. He's just there. Same with Jamal Lewis. They both come bombing down that side constantly. Fornals can't keep up with him. Lanzini won't keep up with him. There's no one really else that can play there, so it's a bit of a worry. That is my position of concern. I know there's Antonio. I'm just worried about his fitness, Gonzo. He looked knackered 3 games ago. Norwich have had an extra day's rest before this one as well. That'll make a huge difference, but I'm just a bit, I want to see changes, but there's not that many people I want to change, if that makes sense. I've changed the defence, but that's almost like a punishment. That's not because of fitness. That's because they were crap.
Here we go again.
But the rest of the team, I want to freshen up. I'm not sure how. I might even put Jack Wilshere on the left or something, just for something different. I know it's not really his natural position, but given he's left-footed, I'd hope that he might be able to adapt to it. But crikey, Gonzo, this game's massive.
It really is, and I just, it's such a shame that we go into this nervous, and this is now. You wait until Saturday morning. You wait, you're going to be so nervous. We all will be. And, well, fortunately, we're not there to transmit our nerves, onto the pitch, so to speak. But the players will still be nervous about it. It's done nothing for confidence. I say that. Remember, earlier when you were, before we went live, and you were talking about the Bournemouth game and this, that, and the other, and I don't know if it changed now when we're going live there. You said Aston Villa were playing Man United, and you said Aston Villa. Okay.
Man U. 1-0 Man U.
Good, okay. But before that, you said Aston Villa did not know they were playing badly. Yeah. I would think that there are probably some neutrals who watched our game against Burnley. I will say neutrals. I bet Norwich looked at West Ham against Burnley and thought, actually, West Ham aren't playing badly, yeah? They're creating chances. It's easy. It's easy when it's your own team to be very, very downbeat. But actually, when it's the opposition, you start to fear things. And Norwich would have seen plenty in West Ham's performance to think they can trouble us with their attack. Even though we didn't, we didn't actually end up troubling with that attack. The flip side is they will see plenty where they can attack us. So I just hope that some of our players can take some confidence from it. I don't know what. It's going to be interesting to see what Moyes had done, because I'm not even sure a rollicking might have been the thing to do. I think almost he has to build them up, make them confident again, and rather than giving people a rollicking, actually just take the people out of the team that aren't functioning. I'm
hoping Moyes got a rollicking as well, whether it's from Kevin Olin or Mark Noble or something. I hope someone took him to the side and says, Gaffer, you need to help the team. Your subs need to be better. You get your subs right, you've got a chance. The thing is, I think we've played all right the last few games. Spurs game, I thought we played all right. I thought Chelsea, we played really good. Newcastle, I thought we did well. Burnley, I thought we did all right. It's just when it comes to key moments in the game, which is a substitution, that's where my nerves are shot a little bit. We got to go down. I fear for it, because I think then what we're going to do, because I don't have faith in us changing it to go on and do something in the match. We've got to go up. I'm pretty confident that we will go on to win the match, actually, because Norwich, the one thing I've seen that they're lacking is that when they do go down, their heads drop pretty quickly. They can be a bit dejected as soon as they concede. Set pieces, I don't think they're great at, which is obviously going to help us, because that's the one position we are looking dangerous in. We look dangerous enough in it against Burnley, who's the best team in the league at defending set pieces, and we had a few chances there. But this game's just huge. We win and we go 6 points clear of Bournemouth, because they've got a point now. But we've got that invisible point because of the goal difference. So 3 games to go, 6 points. I know Bournemouth have a game in hand, but I would fancy us to get one more point and we should be enough. But we have to win this one. The interesting thing we've got for this one, though, is Watford play at the same time as us, which is going to be a bit... It's going to put the nerves all over the place, isn't it? For both sets of fans, both sets of teams. Could you imagine you're David Moyes? It's 0-0 with half an hour to go, but someone comes up to you and tells you Watford are 3-0 down. Suddenly you're thinking, hang on a minute, a point's alright now. A point is alright here, because Watford are 3-0 down. But if someone comes up to him and says, Watford are 2-0 up, you'd like to think you're going to see your manager go, right, well, we need 3 points here. We need to go for the win. And it's going to be the same for Watford. Someone will very much know what's going on at Carrow Road. They're very much going to be looking at each other thinking, here we go. There's 4 of us in this race and 2 of us are getting relegated. It's the whole advantage and disadvantage thing, isn't it? So are you optimistic for this one?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I am for this one. In terms of what you were just saying there, though, I would really hope that I can understand why Moyes might need, for the reasons you just said, why Moyes might need to have somebody telling him the scoreline of the Watford game. I think it was very, very important that the players do not know at any point, and actually there's an instruction given out when water breaks or whatever, half-time, the players do not find out what the Watford game is doing. I just think it's unnecessary distraction.
Unless a Norwich player tells them. By the way, you're coming down with us as well, because Watford are 2-0 up.
Yeah, well, there you go. They might do that.
I don't think anyone would, because the people on the ground are all related to the club. There is a press bit, but I doubt that someone's going to stand up and shout out the score or anything. So I don't think they would find out, but it'd just be interesting to see the whole psychology, because it's almost got a feel of last game of the season about it, in a way where you're going to be checking the results going on at the other ground and how it impacts your game and stuff. I'm very optimistic though, but for the reasons I've already given. I thought we've been playing well. I thought we have been playing well enough. If we'd been better at finishing against Burnley, I think we could have gone on to win that game. And we're playing, at the end of the day, listen, we're playing a team that's bottom of the league. This is the hard facts. There's all these stats going around now, isn't it? We've not won at Carrow Road in about 40 years. But we've not lost a game against the bottom 6 this season. We've won 3 and drawn 4 or something like that. So there's good and bad stuff going around, but this is what it is now. We're clinging to these numbers. We're supporting Spurs and Man United. I'm getting a heart attack when Callum Wilson scored a overhead kick in the 89th minute. Do you know something though? At the end of it, as long as we stay up, it will have made me enjoy football for Project Restart. Just the emotions, because that's what football is, isn't it? It's emotions. It's the roller coaster. It must be pretty boring being a Crystal Palace fan or something during Project Restart when there's no crowd there and you're safe and you've got nothing to play for. It must be a bit crap, right? At least we're getting a little bit of value.
Yeah, no, you're, yes and no. I would rather be in Crystal Palace's position.
For the sake of your health. But I do feel, that this roller coaster, the win against Chelsea, I do feel has pulled a lot of people that are falling out of love with the modern game, or West Ham or whatever. I do feel it pulled a lot of people back in, and it's almost made people realise that actually the love is still there. However, we'll get relegated. I'm pretty sure that candle will be blown out pretty quickly. But anyway, can I get your score prediction, please?
Yeah, I'm going for West Ham 3, Norwich 1.
Whoa, goals!
Oh, yeah. Why are you not so? I'm really confident, actually. Really confident.
I'm gonna go Norwich 0, West Ham 1.
Oh, tight, measly, stingy.
I think we're gonna go a goal up, and I think we're gonna do what Burnley did: get back in your own box and just boot it for the rest of the game. And do you know something? If that's what, as long as we win, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I don't care how we do it. But anyway, myself and Gonzo will be back at 11:30 Saturday morning. It's a 12:30 kickoff, so 11:30 on Saturday we'll be live, and then there'll be a watch along straight after, and then myself and Gonzo will be doing the review, hopefully celebrating 3 points for West Ham. But if you enjoyed this preview, drop a like on it. It's a Scout new around here, and we shall see you in a bit.
Hello guys, how you doing? It's me, Jack, mate. You've just finished watching probably one of the best videos on YouTube. So why not take a moment to consider subscribing? And if you haven't already, hit the like button and turn the notification bell on. Apparently it helps. I don't know how. It was good enough, wasn't it?